I'm from Revere, Massachusetts. It's just outside of Boston, and honestly, Boston is the best city, and if you disagree, you're wrong. I've loved racing my entire life, and my parents say it all the time, like, all of a sudden I just started watching racing, and it's literally just been a part of me. NASCAR, Formula One, cars in general, like just everything, every form of racing has been something I've been heavily interested in since, I guess, I was born. Sports have been a huge part of my life, racing included. I played baseball growing up. Baseball was my first love. I played football in high school, and honestly, I was that kid in gym class that, you know, you kind of knew, like, he was the first pick. I've been competitive in everything throughout my life, and sim racing was no different. After I stopped playing football, iRacing started becoming that go-to for a competitive sport. I found sim racing and iRacing around 2013. Previously, I was just playing a bunch of racing games on the computer and on my Xbox. I found iRacing through YouTube, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And the more I raced, the more I wanted to get better. And the better I got, the more I wanted to get to the top level. I found out my true pace on iRacing around 2015. I raced with guys like Marcus Richardson, Bobby Zelensky, Kyle Putz. Even Ray Alfala came and raced around 2015 with us for a bit. When you compete with those guys, you're like, wow, you know, my pace is becoming fast, like really quickly. And then you're just like, okay, I'm gonna keep going with it. Getting to the Coke Series is a very, very lengthy process. My first season running Road to Pro was 2017, and I missed the top 20 Cup by 1 point to Timmy Hill. And then fast forward to 2020, and so I missed the top 20 again by 1 position. Luckily, Christian Challenger dropped out the series that year to become an iRacing employee, so I was able to take his spot. I was like, finally, man. You know, Tyler sent the email. I was like, finally, it's been so long. You know, I felt like I should have made it the first time around because everything was smooth until I made a colossal mistake in hitting the pit barrels. You know, I got the invitation to the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. That was it. You know, I was like, I finally made it. And it was crazy because when I got on the service in 2014, I never thought it would happen. I thought my rookie season was gonna be amazing. Maybe not playoffs amazing, but I expected to finish top 15, and I was, you know, driving for Joe Gibbs at that time in the 18, the Interstate Batteries machine, so, you know, high expectations, and I thought I would be able to meet those expectations. And my season started amazing. The first 3 races were great, and then we get to Atlanta, and I got wrecked while running decent, and the season literally went downhill from there. Like, I really knew the season was gone at Michigan, and I still had a chance to make the top 20 and lock myself into the series for the next year. And I ran well. I was making a move towards the front of the pack very late in the race, and, you know, everything was going great. And then just, you know, pack racing, you know, what can you do? And I got involved in a wreck, and at that point, it was like, my chance at top 20 is just completely gone. And it's another race where I'm running well, everything's going great, boom, wreck, I'm done, P30. So, you know, getting top 20 at that point was just completely gone. So that was the point where I knew I had to reassess everything about the season. I had to, you know, change my whole approach. The Contender Series was the beginning of me trying to race more aggressive early on in the race. I realized in my rookie season that changing my approach to races where, you know, I'd be kind of let the race come to me over time, but, you know, that's just not the way to approach these races. You know, you got to be aggressive. You got to take every chance you get because everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's going super aggressive, and you got to match their aggression, or, you know, be more aggressive than they are, and you got to make it known that, you know, you're coming to take this spot and you're gonna take it. If I saw a gap, then, you know, I had to take the gap, and it worked out very well. Coming into this season, I was just gonna be super aggressive. So, you know, we gotta try to get track position very early in the race. If that means killing my tires, well, I'm gonna have to kill my tires and, you know, try to hold on throughout the race. The shift in my mentality definitely became, you know, I'm not a guest in the series anymore. This is my 2nd year. You know, you're not really racing for respect anymore, so to say. You're kind of racing for yourself now. I just thought it was like any other Tuesday. Last year on race day, I was kind of like, get the jitters, like, okay, you know, it's Coke day. How's this race gonna go? This day was different. You know, new season, you don't really know what's gonna happen. I started the race around the Charlotte Phoenix guys, Colin Keister and Graham Bolin, and two of the Stuart Haas guys, Stephen Wilson and Dylan Duval. I started the race relatively close to all of them, and we had kind of talked a couple days leading up to the race how we wanted to work together, and you know, that was the strategy we wanted to implement. So starting near each other kind of got the race going off on the correct foot. You know, we can kind of start discussing as we're clicking away laps, you know, what we want to do, when we want to pit, stuff like that. When the green flag dropped, the race instantly became relatively calm because Michael Conti, Nick Ottinger, Logan Clampett, Keegan Leahy, Mitchell DeYoung, those guys, they kind of just took control of both lanes. To be honest, the race was boring leading up to the first pit stop because those guys, they executed in qualifying and they took control of the race. Lap 43, our pit stop was flawless. And you know, we start entering turn 3 and the guys on the bottom that were controlling the race prior kind of were up to speed, so I didn't know if we were going to clear them, but all of a sudden, coming off the 4, I just see smoke in a car sideways. And I see Colin in front of me. I'm like, Colin, I can't see a thing. Tell me where to go. He says, all right, go to the wall. So, you know, we go to the wall and, you know, just flying by everybody. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, we just took control of the race. 3 to go, and I'm restarting on the outside front row at a super speedway, which is probably the place where you want to be the most on a restart. And I'm surrounded by the people I've been working with all race. You know, on lap 77 or 78, you know, we got connected and we're pulling the bottom line. And I'm like, all right, this is good, this is good. And I notice Graham gets clear and they're 3 wide behind us. And you know, I look up in my mirror entering turn 3 and there's smoke behind me. And it hits me like, okay, the caution's out now, I'm the leader. And that's a good place to be and a very, very scary place to be, because now at this point, so many thoughts are running through my mind. When do I block? How do I block? Do I just stare at my mirror the whole time? Do I go back to the top? Do I protect the bottom? So, you know, just so many thoughts are running through your mind when you're the leader of a late race caution at Daytona. Green, white checkered at Daytona, you know, everybody knows fireworks are about to happen. We're coming off of turn 4 and Garrett's still pushing me away from the pack. I noticed we kind of had a little 3-car breakaway and the 3rd car is Steven. So Garrett makes his move, I'm starting to get pulled back. At this point I'm thinking the race is over. And I noticed Steven has a run. I gotta get back to the bottom really quick. And Steven told me this after the race. My little twitch to the left kind of threw him off. I thought, honestly thought Garrett had the race won. When we crossed the line, I'm flipping through my black boxes, trying to get to my F3 real quick, trying to scroll to my name to see, is there a 1 next to it? Somebody said, I got it, but I didn't believe them. You know, I wanted to see it for myself, and the scoring finally updated, and you know, I saw that I had won the race, and it was just at that point, I didn't know what to do, to be honest. I was like, just exhilarating with joy that, you know, I won. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it whatsoever that I won. Winning in this series is crazy hard. I feel like everybody on the service knows how competitive all 40 of us are, how hard it is to get into the series, and just knowing you're a winner, it's such a joyous feeling. Like it's hard to describe because there's just so much that goes into it, so much time, so much preparation, so many people along the way as well that help you get to that point. So it's too big to really put into words. Winning at Daytona. It's very interesting when you look at the Coke Series field and you see 3 of the 40 drivers are minorities. You know, there's myself, Malik Ray, and Corey Vincent. And I feel like the 3 of us have personalities that are able to, you know, reach a broad audience, and a part of that audience should hopefully be, you know, a lot of minorities out there, whether they're fans of NASCAR or sim racing in general. And I want people to look at the 3 of us, myself, Corey, and Malik, and think, you know, that could be me. I want us to be ambassadors for iRacing and for NASCAR in general, to look at us and, hopefully get inspiration. Like, NASCAR isn't just targeted to a specific audience, like it makes people who come from different backgrounds and are way younger want to open up to something that's been kind of shielded from them or kind of looked at in a way that, this isn't for you. This isn't something for you. And NASCAR has definitely changed that image where it's like it's not just for this fan base, it's for everybody. Being the first Black world champion on iRacing would be monumental for me. I feel like that would solidify me as an ambassador on the esports side of racing for Black kids or minority kids or anyone who looks like me or sees me and relates to me and wants to be like me in the future. You look at somebody like Lewis Hamilton, and so many people have been inspired by Lewis, and if I were to win the championship, that would just be crazy to me because I would know that now I'm inspiring so many kids to grow up and be like me on the esports scene. And that would just be knowing how many people like I was influenced by and am influenced by in esports. For me to be that person would mean a lot to me. I'd be a role model to people I don't even know and may never even meet, but they'll look at me as somebody that's inspirational for them, and that you can't put that into words. That's just unbelievable.